All right, we're going to go over some key terms related to prejudice and discrimination. And this one will be pretty quick. But the terms stereotype, prejudice, and discrimination tend to just get jumbled around a lot and interchanged, and they're actually very different ideas. We're going to go over real quick what those are. Stereotype is a generalized belief about A stereotype is a generalized belief about a group of people that can be either good or bad. There are positive stereotypes. If you tend to like a group of people because a group they belong to, right, that is a positive stereotype. Within the idea of positive stereotypes, there's something that's called the model minority stereotype, which is where you acknowledge the good of one minority group that's other than yourself. And it's kind of a double-edged sword, because in the one way you're acknowledging the good of that group, like you're saying this group tends to have this positive feature, right? So you're giving a positive stereotype, but then you're holding all other minority groups that are outside of yourself up to that standard of, well, this group is good at this, why can't you be good at this? So that's the idea of like the model minority stereotype. But a stereotype is a generalized belief about a group of people that can be either good or bad. So stereotypes are not automatically bad. Stereotypes are not automatically negative. Stereotypes can actually be positive, okay? A prejudice is a prejudgment. It's an unjustified attitude towards a group of people. Now, technically, there can also be positive prejudices, but the vast majority of the time when we're using the term prejudice, we are referring to a negative attitude. So a stereotype is a belief. It's a fact that I believe to be true, right? And a prejudice is an attitude. So stereotype, belief, prejudice, attitude. Almost always negative. Can be positive. We don't usually use the language that way. Now, there are two different types of prejudice. There's an explicit prejudice and an implicit prejudice. An explicit prejudice, we are aware of it. I am aware that I have a negative attitude towards this group. I've owned it. I accept it. I don't like these people. It is what it is, right? So an explicit prejudice, I am absolutely aware that I have this attitude. An implicit prejudice is kind of a knee-jerk response where I'm not even fully consciously aware of how my attitude towards this group of people is impacting my behaviors or interactions with them. If you were to ask me, I would say, well, no, I don't have a problem with this group, because I might not even be consciously aware of it. It's below the surface of what I'm processing. Okay, so stereotype is belief, prejudice is attitude, and then within the prejudice, there's explicit or implicit. Explicit being I'm aware that this is my attitude, and implicit being, well, I'm kind of hiding it from myself. I'm not totally aware of it. So we have our belief and our attitude, and then from that flows our actions. And that's where discrimination comes into play. So the word discrimination is specifically referred to actions. It is to act in a harmful way towards the members of the group purely because they are members of that group, right? Racist actions are discrimination. Sexist actions are discrimination, right? Ageist hiring practices in companies are discrimination. So once my ideas and my attitudes actually turn into an action, that's where it becomes discrimination. So the stereotype is the belief, the prejudice is the attitude, the key word for this video is salad, and the action is discrimination. So those are the ways to keep those terminologies straight.